Corsair, tucked in close behind the Grumman F8F2P Bearcat. Thanks to that inverted gull wing configuration on the Corsair. That aspect of its design resulted from the need for the aircraft to have folding wings so as to maximise the R2800 double wasp of 2,000 horsepower. That was the most powerful and largest capacity engine of any production fighter at the time, and it became the fastest single-engined American fighter of its day, able to exceed 400 miles an hour. I say this one is a Goodyear-built Corsair. It was, of course, originally a product of the Transport Company. And like many great fighters, Spitfire indeed included, it had its teething problems in its early days, and those manifested themselves particularly when it came to its suitability for aircraft carrier operations. So it was that the US Marine Corps, flying Corsairs from land bases, operated this type first from July 1942 onwards, and in fully operational frontline service from that December. This was because the US Navy initially refused to qualify the Corsair for operations for its carriers. To attain its full potential, and soon these aircraft were outclassing the main Japanese opposition, the Mitsubishi A6M0 and other Imperial Japanese Naval Air Force fighter types at the time in most of the important combat aspects. Air-to-air and air-to-ground roles as their forces island-hopped through the Pacific during the conclusion of that campaign. The Royal New Zealand Air Force, also an important Corsair user in the Pacific theatre. And so too was the Fleet Air Arm. 18 Fleet Air Arm squadrons of Corsairs, so equipped at the peak of this aircraft's Royal Navy service. The Corsair into land as the first of our Spitfires taxied out, ready for the finale of our display today. And with the Wessex and the Sea King running on the grass flight line as well, we're in for a busy few minutes. But here is a warbird we've most definitely enjoyed over the years, the Bearcat. Space today, just precluding some of the really spectacular, penetrating vertical manoeuvres. They're this stunning little fighter's forte. Design work by the famed Grumman Ironworks on this aircraft began in 1943, at a time when Japanese fighters were still posing a significant threat in the Pacific. It was developed as a successor to their very successful F6F Hellcat. The idea was to improve the performance and lighten the weight. That would of course come at a penalty, namely shorter range. This classic combination of a small aircraft with a big engine. When I say it's small, it's 27 feet, 7 inches long, 35 feet, 1 inch in span, and that engine radial, 2,100 horsepower at the pilot's disposal, and this aircraft can reach a maximum speed of 421 miles an hour. It's also a magnificent performer in terms of its handling, a 16-point hesitation roll. What a sight. During testing of this aircraft, Grumman trialled the use of explosive charges to blow off the outer 3 feet of the wingtips if it exceeded 8.5 G to try and prevent wing failures. It was never adopted in production because the system always malfunctioned and blew just one of the tips off. The 24 frontline US Navy squadrons flew F-8Fs with the mount of the Navy's Blue Angels display team, and while jets like the F-2H Banshee and the F-9F Panther soon superseded it in operational units, Bearcats carried on with second line and training squadrons. By the French and Royal Thai Air Forces, the French flying them in combat during the Indochina conflict. Another great achievement of the Bearcat is success in unlimited class air racing in the United States. Notably at the Reno Air Races, where a highly modified F-8F named Rare Bear was dominant for so many years. At the Flying Legends air shows for many years in the hands of TFC's founder, Stephen Gray. Here it is into land, meanwhile, in the hugely experienced hands of TFC's chief pilot, Pete Kinsey, after another masterclass of warbird display flying. And all of that, you need to remember, for display purposes, was flown at a relatively conservative power setting. Just imagine what it could do if you really opened the taps. Now, the Spitfire 5 of Comanche fighters getting into the air. This is going to be our joker this afternoon. Plugging that gap while we get up at Duxford into the air en masse, both Spitfires and Hurricanes. With the best means of attacking large enemy formations, or whether it simply took too long for the big wing to get together and take on the Luftwaffe over southeast England. But nonetheless, it's something that we pay tribute to this weekend with our own big wing of Spitfires and Hurricanes rolling now.